Happy New Year and welcome back, folks. I just wanted to cover a couple of things that have happened in the last couple of weeks since I took vacation. We have a couple of pretty big things happening across the board. There's physical assets, there are technology news, and of course, the geopolitical news too. I'll start with the biggest things, which is you have Trump kidnapping Maduro, who was the president of Venezuela. The impact on oil prices is likely to be long-term bullish for stocks, specifically American oil companies. But whether or not the crude oil prices and other oil derivatives go up remains to be seen, dependent on how the US manipulates Venezuela's oil supply. So we'll keep following that as things progress. In other news with silver and gold, we do see continued increases. There has been a bit of a drop in the last couple of days since the new year. I think this is probably because larger institutions are probably going to want to rotate some of their assets, especially at the start of the year. You just probably sold off some of the stock for either tax loss harvesting, or you want to try and reposition, re-strategize for the upcoming 2026 year. So we're going to see a bit of a drop across some areas, maybe some shifting, but I am still bullish in 2026 for data centers and for hardware, for AI compute in general. So you can see Applied is up. You have Micron is up. Micron, again, like we talked about last time, manufacturers of RAM, and we do see massive amounts of demand for compute continuously increasing. The number of times that most professions are mentioning even the phrase AI keeps going up. And as one of those top contenders, we see that Google is going to continue investing in the space heavily. They have the talent from a technology standpoint. They have the infrastructure. They have a lot of things that are going well for them. They're also, I believe, a 10% stakeholder holder in Claude. So that's going to be a substantial benefit for them if Claude takes off. And in the worst case scenario, we find out that this was generally a blow over bubble, which I frankly don't think so. Then they still maintain their search dominance within that market cap space. So all in all, I think a pretty safe bet, pretty good. Lots of smart people. I know a lot of people who work for Alphabet all across the board, really smart people. Robinhood, another great one for 2026. I personally believe will do really well as we start to see increase in the number of betting markets like Polymarket. Webull has jumped onto this train recently, I think, in the past couple months. But Robinhood has really taken off with a lot of the financial products that they're offering, from the IRA to the crypto. And then they introduced futures. They're going to introduce short selling, they said back in October. So we'll see when they actually release the shorts. But I'm someone who thinks that the payment for order flow thing is, yes, unfortunately, a little bit sketchy. They're probably selling a lot of that data directly to Vanguard. So if you are a retail trader, you do have to be wary about those kinds of things, about what the best price you might be getting is. But if you look at other companies like Interactive Brokers, they tend to not be as exciting because they're trying to just copy things that Robinhood is doing, whereas Robinhood is moving quickly, understands that the user experience is an important part of maintaining customers and offering benefits like 3% match on IRA and things like that. So in Revolution Medicines is another interesting one. I used to work in biotech. I asked a couple of my friends in biotech about this one because I personally didn't understand what was happening lately. But as I understand, there's a really promising trial result that came through. I think they ended up having talks with AbbVie. So there seems like the rumors that AbbVie might be in conversations to do an acquisition for them. I personally think that they may be a little bit overbought right now, considering that big jump. You're going to see a bit of a drop back. So I think this is probably something we'd want to pay attention to over the next coming months, but not immediately jump into. All in all, I think there's a lot going on with across all of these tickers. And yeah, I think that there's probably going to be more things that happen this year. We'll pay attention to what happens with defense companies. Trump has recently announced that he wants to cap the amount of income that these CEOs can make in the defense industry. I think that that'll be really interesting because you see a misalignment of incentives otherwise with the military industrial complex. The other thing that I think was interesting is real estate, specifically around whether or not institutions are able to participate in the real estate markets. And so what we see is that Trump is trying to have some conversations and put out the idea of potentially pushing out people in the real estate industry so that people can have affordable income. So affordable housing, excuse me. All in all, I think it's some interesting stuff, but I'm a little bit skeptical. I think that Trump tends to be somebody who puts out ideas there, tests the water before actually implementing things. You see that with a couple of things where he backtracks, like, for example, pressuring Intel CEO to step down. He reversed on that after a conversation, pressuring X, Y, and Z industries to do X, Y, and Z. I think that it really ends up being what incentivizes him. So it'll be interesting to see whether the military industrial complex ends up just giving him a bunch of money. If real estate companies like Blackstone end up trying to give him some money in order to appease their interests. I think it's better to not be overly reactive to the things that he says, but rather look at the regulations that come into play. We'll keep following these stories. I wanted to keep this pretty much just a summary of the last couple of weeks. Hope you all have a great new year, and let's continue following what's going on. Regarding the email newsletter with my machine learning predictions, there are a couple more issues that I have to work out. I've been trying to scale it up to work with more compute power. So even myself, I need more RAM. I need more of these things that you would consider data infrastructure. Again, I think another great aspect, which is why I'm bullish on those things. Okay, hope to catch you in the next one. Hope this has been informative, and let's continue watching where things go.